everyone, it's Rachel with Rachel's Super Cute Creations, and this is part 2 of my live. We were having some chat issues, so hopefully we'll be working well and we will not have any problems. As you come in, please say hello on the right-hand side so that I know that we're working properly this evening. And hopefully everybody who was over in the last one will come on over to this one. So please say hello on the right-hand side so I know who's in the house tonight. And we are just using scraps off of our desks to make some embellishments. So what I'm doing is just taking these scraps that I had and just layering different ways. And we're doing a little bit of stamping today. Hi, Barbara. How are you? Looks like we're working now. I'm not sure if you were in my other one, but I couldn't talk to anybody, and it was really frustrating. So welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining tonight. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. And all we're doing is taking scraps off our desks to make some scrappy embellishments. Scrappy, scrappy embellishments. Who else is in here tonight? Please say hello on the right-hand side so that I can acknowledge you. I would greatly appreciate it. So as I said in the last video that I started, is I'm just layering stuff. I want to get all these scraps used up that have been on my desk. And so I'm just layering, and we are going to do some stamping tonight. And as I said, we're going to just use up all those bits and pieces. You have a lot of scraps, Barbara? I know. I do too. And, you know, they get out of control. And so I'm to the point where my scraps are completely out of control. All right. So this one is what I'm going to stamp on. And it's a piece of book page, but it's a plain piece of book page. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to choose a stamp. And as I was saying earlier, these stamps I have not used yet. I've been kind of hoarding stamps. I don't know why. I buy them because I love them, but then I never use them. So it's time to start using some of these stamps. So I'm looking. I'm going to grab, I thought I had a butterfly stamp. So just looking for my butterfly stamp or something that's sort of botanical to go there. Here we go. Here's a couple more stamp sets. Okay. Oh, we have these birds. They might be pretty cool on there. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab this birds. And I can go with something a little bit bigger. So I think I will. We'll definitely use those birds tonight, but I can use something bigger. Oh, let's do this ballerina. I love this ballerina. Use this. Hi, Emma. Thanks for joining tonight. We're just using up some more scraps. This is a Tim Holtz stamp, and I'm thinking about maybe just using the top of it. So I'm not going to use the bottom. I'm only going to use the top. And I'm throwing my stamp pad all over. So, oh my goodness. Silly me. All right. So I'm going to kind of offset this a little bit. There we go. So there is another embellishment done. Oh, here on your desktop? Well, at least you're watching. At least you're watching. Excuse me, guys. I had to get a drink there. Okay, so we'll do one more and then we'll do some sewing and then we'll get another piece out. How's that sound? So in this one, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So, and this is Reader's Digest book pages. I love to use the ones that have the photos that I don't like on for collaging and different things like that. So that's where that kind of comes in. For this one, we're going to use this rose fabric. And I really just do not have a plan. I'm just kind of layering and the first ones I kind of I stacked them up and showed you what they would look like first. But for the most part, I just start layering and I really do not worry about anything else. And so this is a piece of scrap that I had. When I start my sewing machine, especially when I'm first threading it, I always use a piece of paper to make sure it's sewing correctly. And so I just save that and put that in my little scrap bin and use it to just give some more dimension. All right. And so because I love that little ballerina, I'm thinking she'll fit on here. So we'll see if she'll fit on there. Just clean off this stamp. And I'm just using a baby wipe. Yeah, it's a great time saver. And just throw those in your bin. And then you've got more collage materials and more things to make your, oh yeah, she's going to fit perfect on there. I love to make layered embellishments and have them on hand. So this is a Tim Holtz stamp. Oh, and I don't like, as I said, I'm not a good stamper. I'm definitely not a professional stamper by any means. You all that do the beautiful stamping, I'm in awe because I don't have the patience. As I said in the last video, definitely could not be a Stamp It Up consultant because that is not my cup of tea. All right, so I do want to, I'm also have this wrapping paper right here that I think will give her a little bit of dimension behind her. Has little roses on it. And a lot of you have been asking me, how do I use this wrapping paper if I'm not using it for a flip? Well, use this in collage just like you do any of your other papers. So I'm just going ahead, adding this right here. And now I'll add my little ballerina. And that is so cute. So I'll hold that up for you. So she's really cute. And you could ink around and you could do a lot of different things. Now I have room to do a small one, sort of a small long one. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Just going to keep layering here. I have this little piece of blue. So we're going to go ahead and add that. And as I said, this is just to add to my scrap bin. So I have some little collage pieces for when I'm working on different projects. So what's everybody else up to? Hi, Loftus girl. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for coming in tonight. All right. And so I'm going to do those little birds, I think, on here. Let's see. Here we go. So we're just using up all those little paper scraps. I'm going to kind of put this one up here. All right. And I'll grab that little set of 3 birds. Sorry for the noise. Who else is in here tonight? Yeah, it's definitely a time saver. You know, this does not take a lot of time and you're using up those scraps. That is adorable. And you can always add to it afterwards. All right, so you could do a whole page of these. But what I like to do once I have a page together is I like to go ahead and go over to my sewing machine and do some stitching. So let me just put these little stamps back on. Okay, set those to the side. We're going to keep this because this is a pretty good piece that we can use, oops, in collage. I'll throw those away. I do keep even the tiniest little fabrics because they're perfect for embellishments. And we're going to go ahead and have my sewing machine right here. All right. Okay. And so you can do a couple of things. Now I'm just going to put it on a straight stitch for this first one. And what I like to do is I like it to be, oops, on about a 2.4 stitch length. And that's just my personal favorite, but you can put it on whatever you want. So I just go ahead and I just sew around the pieces. And you can do it however you want. So I usually start by making kind of a square or whatever shape the embellishment is. So I'm sure that I'm tacking down most of those pieces. So you can see I just went around that. And then what I like to do is I will go ahead and I just kind of go around all of them first. So we'll do that first and then we'll go back in and we'll do some other decorative stitches. So I'm just kind of going around whatever shape that is roughly, just to do some basic tacking of all those papers. Now we've used glue, so you don't have to worry. I mean, if you don't have a sewing machine, you don't have to worry about it. This is just kind of an extra step. And just be careful. You are working with paper, so you don't want to tear it. And I leave my strings long, and I go back through later if I don't want those strings, and I'll take them off. Okay, so I'll show you the 3 that I've done so far since you can't see very well without making you dizzy and sick here. So now we'll kind of go around this bottom one. And this is going to be a long embellishment, which is great for a bottom of a tag. It's great to put on a pocket. And if by leaving it on this long piece, it just makes it easier. You don't end up with the paper trying to get sucked down in your feed dogs or having any problems with that. So, I mean, you can do it however you want. I just like to do it this way so that I'm sure that I'm not going to have problems. Because sometimes when you're sewing paper, you can have tension issues. And sometimes, I mean, you can have tension issues with fabric. But with paper, you definitely will get some tension issues sometimes. And you'll also end up with, you can have broken needles and things like that. So now, if you don't have a sewing machine, get a needle and thread out, and you can do this with a needle and thread too. All right. So I'm just going to slide this away for a minute. So this is what we kind of ended up with, is I just went around them. Now I want to kind of do a little bit of decorative stitching around them, not a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, what do I want to do? You know what? I'm just going to do a basic zigzag. And I choose a spot. Now, you can do a ton of stitching if you want, or you can just do a little bit of stitching. What I like to do is just a little bit of stitching, just to give it a little bit of character. So if I'm doing zigzag, I typically will just do a small section of zigzag. All right, and then for this one, yeah, we're going to go zigzag down the side. Whoop. And I just unthreaded my needle. Oh, I'm so sorry, Emma. That sounds horrible. You're so lucky you didn't break anything. I'm glad you didn't, but that sometimes bruising is worse. Well, this is something that without the sewing machine, you could even just have someone bring you some of your scraps, Emma, and you can sit in a chair and do some of this. If you're feeling like you want to get doing something, this is an easy peasy. And then you can always do the sewing later. A lot of times I'll just do this part. I'll just glue them down, spend a day gluing things down, and then I'll just sew whenever I have my sewing machine out. So, oops, sorry guys, we have one more. One more. Okay. All right, so this is what we ended up with. So then I go through and I kind of trim some of these. I mean, you can leave some of them long if you want, but I don't necessarily love all that hanging around. So I definitely trim all the ones on the back. So it just takes a minute to trim them. I don't backstitch either because it's just paper. You can backstitch if you want. All right. Let's get all this mess out of here. Okay. And then what I do, strings everywhere. All right. Okay. So then what I do is I take my ruler and I kind of line it up a little past wherever my stitching or my embellishment is. And I just start tearing. Now, if you want sort of a straight edge, you know, you can use your ruler. And you end up, and there's your embellishment, okay? If I don't want that straight edge, all I have to do is come in here and I just start ripping it. And I use my fingers and I make this wonky embellishment because sometimes I want that look. So it is totally up to you how you want to do it. And if you're doing this on a Sunday, which is when I do a lot of my embellishments while my husband's watching football, a lot of times I will just rip them with my ruler, and then if I want them wonky later, I can do that just because it's faster and it saves time. So a lot of times I'll just do that. I'll just rip them, set them to the side, and then if I want to do some fussy tearing, I don't know if that's even a word, I'll do that at a later time when I'm actually using it on my piece. But look at that. Isn't that an adorable embellishment? And then I throw, you know, you can always throw these pieces. If there's something you think you might use, throw them back in your scrap bin. But these are just adorable. I love how they look. They're also great for a card. So if you have a birthday card or a little thank you card you want to do, they're easy. Just slap them on the front of the card and you're done. And it didn't take a ton of time. And you end up with this really cute embellishment. So we made 5 embellishments very quickly. Now, that was out of craft paper. So here is a piece of, here's a lunch sack, and I crumbled it up because I wanted to get that look. I just kind of wanted a little bit of texture. And then usually what I'll do is I will take a bone folder or whatever I have, and I will go ahead and flatten it out. Now, if you want, you can leave it as a single layer. This lunch sack is not a very thick bag. If I'm using a regular size grocery sack or regular grocery sack, usually I only use 1 layer, but these grocery bags that I have are thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it in half, and I'm just using regular glue stick because we are going to be sewing. And I'm just doubling it so that I have some more stability. The other thing is when you double it, it will create some more wrinkles for you and give you a little bit more texture as well. And I'm okay with that. So then just burnish it real well. And then we're going to do the same thing. This time, we're just going to start layering. We're going to use this book page, rest of this book page up. And we're going to just start making some quick embellishments. So let's see how quickly we can make some. And I like to leave about 1 inch between them, if at all possible, just because that way I've got plenty of room to tear and do whatever I need to do with these. So we'll do this one kind of long ways. Oh, thank you so much. Messier Designs. Yeah, they are really cute and they don't take a lot of time to do. And like I said, we're using up scraps, which I don't know about you guys, but I just have way too many scraps. All right, so I'm also grabbing some scraps out of this gigantic, this is my scrap bag, you guys. It's huge. We're just grabbing some pieces to play with here. Oh, and I do have in here, I have some wallpaper. Let's use some wallpaper scraps as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tear about an inch of each of these off of here. And we'll play around with those wallpaper scraps. Look at the colors on those. They're gorgeous. So wallpaper scraps are great. You do not need a lot of wallpaper. Just a little bit of wallpaper will be plenty for your projects. I love that blue. All right. So we'll set those in my bin. So we're going to go ahead. We're just going to quickly add these. And these wallpaper pieces are very thick. So they're kind of wanting to curl up a little bit. But because we're going to sew, I'm not worried about that. We're just going to go ahead and keep layering. Yeah, fabric and paper is so much fun. Okay, so the other thing is I have all this white fabric, this like linen fabric. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to use up some of this because it's been on my desk for a while now. And it's a very thin fabric, much thinner than the fabric I've been using, the muslin fabric. So we'll probably go ahead and stamp right on this fabric. And you can see we're already in our layer 3, sorry. We're in our layer 3 already. And I like to get about 4 layers if possible. All right. And I like to put them a little every which way if I can. We're going to square this one up a little bit. Yeah, stamped words would definitely be cute on these. All right. So I still have some fabrics over here. But I think I want one more layer of something. So I'm going to look in my scrap bin. Let's see what I have here. What do we have? What do we have? Have some of this Edith Holden book page. All right, so I'm going to adhere this fabric. And then I'm going to add this Edith Holden page. And then I'm going to stamp this one with a B because I know I have a B stamp. And that would be really cute on that one. We're going to go ahead and get this fabric down. Was anybody working on any fun journals? It's absolutely a great project for swapping goodies. And the other cool thing about these are as long as you leave them pretty flat, they will definitely be reasonable to mail. They're very cheap to mail. So I don't know about you guys, but shipping is getting to be extremely expensive. All right, so I'm adding this ledger paper, which I'm going to stamp on for this one. Eli, how are you? Welcome. Glad you made it tonight. We're just making some scrappy embellishments. Just some easy peasy stuff tonight. And I won't be on real long, but I did want to get on and just show you guys a couple of ideas. So I told you I had a bee. So I'm going to stamp this little bee on here. And then let's see what else. Hi, Laura. Thank you for letting us know your name. Appreciate that. Makes it a little easier to chat with everybody. Oh, I love this old typewriter from Tim Holtz. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this little typewriter. On there. Cute, cute, cute. And I have not ever used this globe, so I think we should use this globe. Because I think that's cute. And I'm just stamping on scrap paper. There we go. Add this on here. And let's see, what else should we stamp? Well, we're getting a few more people in here. Welcome, everybody. Please say hello on the right-hand side so I know who's in the house tonight. I appreciate everybody taking time out of their Sunday to join us and to chat. This will not be a real long video today, but I wanted to make sure we could do this little motor cycle. That's kind of cute. Just wanted to take some time to show you guys how to use some more of those scraps that we've had packed away or sitting on our desks. So that is the plan. Today. Hi, Sandra. Oh, thank you. Thanks. I have a hard time using the Edith Holden books in my crafting too. I love them so much, but we can only hoard so long. I went to an amazing estate sale this weekend, and I didn't buy a lot, but it's called the River Mansion. And it's so cool because all that was open this weekend was the carriage house, the boathouse, and there was a basement in the garage, which I've never seen before. But this home is so beautiful, you guys. Each weekend, they're having a different part of the home opened up. So I will be going for the next 2 weekends to check this home out. And I really just want to go to the estate sale just to see this home. Oh my gosh, the carriage house above the garage had 5 rooms. It had like a kitchenette, like a little kitchen area. Basically just had a kitchenette and a sink and a little stove. And then it had a bathroom. and then it had 4 rooms up there. And the most recent person who was living there was using it sort of as an art studio. But the home itself has over 15 rooms, plus a basement, plus a full attic. So very excited. Next weekend is the main ballroom and dining room. And I can't remember. I think it's just like the one floor. So my husband's going to go with me, but we actually get to see the house, and I'm excited about that. Well, I didn't mean to use that stitch, but I guess it's going to be on there anyway. I thought I had gone to a regular stitch, but that's fine. So now I'm just stitching around quickly. Nothing fancy. You don't have to be perfect. Oops, and then I broke a thread. You don't have to be perfect. Hi, Daniel. How are you? Glad you're joining us. All right, let's try this again. And the stitching does not have to be perfect. Some ladies get so focused on getting those stitches perfect. They don't have to be perfect, you guys. They do not have to be perfect. In fact, the messier, the better, usually. You know, you don't want to put holes in your paper. You do have to kind of be careful that you're not putting holes in your paper when you're pulling. So be careful about pulling too hard. But yeah, this is, you know, do some wonky stitches. Woo, go around it a couple times. It doesn't, it's fine. Hi, Sandra. How are you? Anybody watching football tonight? I don't even know who's on. I know my husband's probably watching it in the other room. Absolutely. Hand stitching would be perfect on them. In fact, I love to hand stitch on little embellishments. And a lot of times I'll just use the basic X cross stitch. And it looks gorgeous on them. You can do, you know, a slow stitch or just a straight stitch on them. Yeah, you hand stitch. If you don't even want to hand stitch, you can do some faux stitching with a pen. You know, use your pen, get your pen out, and just make little dashes, some little faux stitching on there. The other thing you can do is you can always take thread and ball it up. I call them thread nests. If you watched my videos from last week, and do some thread nests and just, you know, and glue them behind the paper. Does not have to be fancy. Right now, I'm just kind of going every which way. I'll show you in just a minute. And just creating texture. So anyway, as I was saying, we had the opportunity to go in the carriage house. The boathouse was really neat. It was down by the water. I just can't imagine. The house was built in 1919, and the owner was a lumber baron in the area. But it was just so cool, just the history of the home. And the home's going up for sale after at the end of the month, after they're done with all these auctions, because they said the last family member is moving out, and so it's be the first time since 1919 that the home will be occupied by someone who's not a family member. And I'll be interested to see what they do with it, because a lot of the old homes down where this home is, they've been purchased and turned into offices. And I mean, this home is huge. It would be a gorgeous bed and breakfast, but unfortunately, where it's located is not a very safe space in the city anymore. So I'm thinking it will probably, I don't know what they'll do with it, whether someone will try to buy it for an office or what. I mean, it would be great if someone would buy it to live in. But so cool. I can't wait to show you guys. I'm hoping to have some stuff. I just bought, all I bought yesterday was a pearl necklace, and a couple of little books. I'm really looking forward to going back this weekend, because they're supposed to have all of their 1800s and 1900s books up for auction. So I'm excited about that, because you all know I love my old books. So, okay. So here are the 4 little embellishments that I made. Ooh, you made some postage stamps out of pictures? That sounds like a cool idea. I love that idea. All right, and there's our little embellishment. Yeah, it was very interesting. It was very, very interesting, very cool. And I cannot wait to see the mansion this weekend. I can't imagine just cleaning. I mean, clearly they had housekeepers. I mean, if they were wealthy enough to build this big of a home, but I just can't imagine cleaning the house. And it was well maintained. The yard was very well manicured. You could tell the woman who owns it now is definitely elderly, but clearly had some people helping her take care of it. But it's just really sad to see, the home that had been in the family since the 1900s, 1919, is now going to go up for auction. So, and sad to see that, her family just didn't want all these beautiful antiques and beautiful things that she had. Yeah. So hopefully this will inspire you all to get out those scraps, get some craft paper or some lunch bags or some grocery sacks from the store, or anything that you have as a base, and get started. I mean, you could even do this with book pages if you wanted to, and use that as your base. But get out there, make some of these cute embellishments. If I wanted to, strings everywhere. If I wanted to make a quick card, all I would have to do is get a piece of paper, fold it in half, and add one of these embellishments, and I've got an adorable card. You know, you just need you know, I can even just take, if I wanted to fancy it up a little bit, just go ahead and just, whoops, corner around and make a card. You know, more than likely I wouldn't use white as my base, but that's what I have. But it would also be cool if you had, you know, I could also take and cover this card face with a piece of book page if I wanted to. Oh, where's my cutter? Add this quickly, and I mean, this is just a piece of copy paper. I would normally use a piece of cardstock, but I mean, you could simply make something very, very quickly with a piece of cardstock. And if I did it a little straighter, it'd be better. Ink up the edges, take one of these, add it to it, and you've got a cute little card. So I hope this inspires you all to get out those scraps and go and just make a cute and send something to someone this week. You know, make a little card and send just a little, you know, thinking about you card. And wouldn't that be just cute? I'd be happy to get something like this in the mail very easily, or take this and put them in your journals. In 47 minutes, we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of these little embellishments that are ready to go for your next project. So, hope you guys love those. I hope you make some tonight. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Hopefully next week will be a little longer tutorial. I started a little bit late. My dog's very sick, and I'm not sure my dog's going to make it. So I was debating on whether to even come on tonight. But more than likely, we will probably have to take her to put her down tomorrow. So we're a little devastated in our house right now. So I needed a little bit of something to keep my mind off of that for a few minutes. So I appreciate you all hanging out with me today, making these cute embellishments, digging into your scraps. Like I said, look, this had quite a few scraps in it when we started, and now we're down to just a little handful of scraps for the next one. So, you know, set a goal to use up those scraps. Don't keep them and hoard them forever. Just use them up. And next week, we'll pick another project to do some little scrap pieces with. Thank you, Emma. I really do. I need you guys in my thoughts. And I need you guys to have me in your thoughts, because we really having a tough time. We only have one child, and we got the dog when my daughter was 2. The dog's 13, and my daughter actually, when she was in preschool, told everybody she had a sister. And so people thought we just didn't bring our other child to events until one day the teacher asked us, and I was like, no, you know, she's an only child. And well, it was her dog that she has thought was her sister. So the dog's been very much a part of our family, and it's going to be a huge loss for us. But I would rather her not suffer. So that's kind of where we're at. But anyway, to leave on a happy note, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, wonderful week, excuse me. I hope that you spend some time making some of these collage pieces. And I hope that I was able to inspire you to do something with all of those scraps. So, bye everyone. Have a wonderful evening. And thank you all for supporting my channel, watching my channel, supporting my Etsy shop. Quite a few of you have supported my Etsy shop, and there'll be some more things going into my Etsy shop soon. But this week, probably not. So, all right. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great week, and I will see you next week. Bye, everyone.